Hi everyone, it's Jeanette here from the Sewing Studio with a little tutorial, I guess, and it's in response to some comments I had from my English paper piecing tutorial we did a little while back. And I know one particular person, Astrid, so hello Astrid, I know you're a very sort of frequent commenter on our YouTube channel. She asked about, and I think other people did as well, and I apologize, there was one other lady whose name escapes me, what I do next when I take the papers out and how I take the papers out. So we thought we would cover that in this little video here today. So there are two sort of main ways, but the first thing to say really is I leave the papers in for as long as I can until I'm ready to use the piece. Even if I'm doing a big quilt, I will leave as many papers in as I can. Now, I'm very lucky that I've actually got a die cutting machine with dies that cut all the different size hexagons that I use. So, you know, I never have any shortage of papers, so I can do that. And I know some people, if you're buying the papers, particularly if you're making a quilt, that can end up being quite expensive. So if you do need to take some of the papers out, what I suggest is you sort of leave a good portion around the outside and you take the papers out from the middle, and that's a traditional way of doing it as well, and recycling the papers, because you can use the papers more than once. But as I said, I tend to leave all my papers in because it gives some stability to the piece. It stops it sort of stretching and distorting, particularly in a big item as well. Once you sort of get the weight of a quilt, it can put tension and put some stress on those seams. So as far as possible, I leave as many papers in as I can. So I've got a piece here. And I will just say as well, there's sort of two different ways that I use them. I either put my hexagons together and then in effect what I'm doing is making another piece of fabric. And if I just sort of bring in this pouch and hold it up, you can see that's what I've done here on the bottom of this. And this was a little zipped pouch that I was teaching Katrina how to put a zip in. So we'll put a link to that tutorial here. And I think this was the little pouch I was making. And if I flip it around on the back, this little hexagon flower I appliqued down. So there's sort of two slightly different ways that I use my hexagons mostly. But before I do anything, the first thing, regardless of which technique I'm going to follow, is I give this a press. So I'm going to take this to the iron. This is also, I'm going to grab that one and press this at the same time, because this is going to be the flower shape I'm going to applique down and show you what I do with that. And I'm going to take this bit to the iron as well. So I just give it a press. And because fabric has memory, so when we press it, it helps it to remember where the creases are. And then I tend to turn it over and give it a press from the back. Now you can probably see I've already pressed this one because I had all my markings on there for the numbers of these in friction pen, and as soon as you put the heat on it, those marks disappear. And then I'm also going to press this one while I'm here. Now I think the other question I got was, how do I stop my papers from curling? Now, that can be for two reasons. You're either pulling your fabric too tight, in which case you're making your papers curl, or if you've put some heat on them, if you've only pressed it from one side, the fibres of the paper will stretch on one side and not on the other, so your papers will curl. So hit it from both sides and that should flatten it out. So let's just put that one up there for a minute and put this one in under the close-up. So we're going to deal with this one first, and I'm going to pretend I'm going to be ready to sort of trim this to size for the bottom of another pouch, which is what is going to happen to this one. Now, when I'm English paper piecing, I always leave my knot, I hand tack, and I always leave my knot on top. Of course, if you've glued, you don't have that issue, but I find it's easier to take the papers out once you've hand tacked. The glue tends to hold on to the fabric a little bit more. But all I do now, I've got my little seam ripper, and I'm just going to put this under the close-up so you can see it. And I've used a thread that contrasts with the fabric generally, so I can easily see. And I'm just going to snip it in a couple of places. You can either do it with a seam ripper, or you could use a little pair of scissors. And I'm actually going to just do a few of those. That little thread will come straight out. So I just clip it in a couple of places, and then you can literally just pull that thread out. So it comes out really easy, and it's quite therapeutic. This is another thing. You can just sort of sit there in the evenings in front of the TV, taking papers out. And I'll just take a few out. I won't do the whole thing. Now, I will also say, because you can probably see from there, I've got some half ones here, and that just helps fill in those gaps. And I've got little half papers that I put those around. And that just means I can get the maximum amount of space or cut from this bit of fabric. So then I can just turn that round and you just sort of pinch. You can punch a little hole in the centre if that's easier, but because there's nothing holding those in now, they just come out really quickly. I think with glue sometimes you have to sort of pull on them a bit more. So that's how I take the papers out, and I would do that, as I said, at the point that I'm ready to trim this, ready to go into the project. So let's move along and have a look at how I do it if I'm going to applique the shape down, because I do something slightly different with that one. So let's just tidy up my mess a minute. I won't reuse those papers. I've probably used them a couple of times already. So I'm just going to grab this one. Now for the moment, I've left the papers in, but I'm going to take the paper out of the centre one. So I'm going to do the same again, just break the thread in a couple of areas, grab the knot and just pull out those threads. And this is where leaving the knot on top comes into play, more so with appliquing it down than with the ones where I'm just going to use it as a piece of fabric. So you can see there, I've taken the paper shape out. So I'm going to put it, I've just grabbed a 5-inch charm square there, and I'm just going to eyeball this for the moment. And I'm just going to pin this down in a couple of places to hold it. If you've got applique glue, you can applique it down. Oh, actually, I think I've moved that, pinning that. So I've just I've threaded a needle. This is a little gold eye embroidery needle. It's just a nice little one. I'm not quite sure the size. It's just one I found in a box here. And I've just got my thread with a knot in the end. And I'm just going to applique this down. So I'm just going to come in from underneath, and I'm going to come, and at the moment the papers are still in those outside hexagons. The only paper I've removed is that centre one. So I'm going to come out right on that edge, and I'm going to start with a little slip stitch to stitch this down. Now we have got a video where I've done some hand stitch techniques. Oh, it's just caught around the pin. So if you want to have a look at this in more detail, we'll put a link to that video. So I'm going to go quiet here now because I'm concentrating. Actually, I probably won't go that quiet. I never go that quiet. I'll do this quite quickly. So I'm just doing a little slip stitch all the way around. Now I will say as I'm doing this, I've got a light coloured thread to go with this light coloured fabric here I'm stitching. When I get to the blue hexagons, if I find that white thread stands out too much, I will switch thread to a blue one that matches in. Sometimes my stitches are so small you can't see it, and sometimes we can. So, well, let's take that because that's just sticking in me. Now I'm just going to keep going until I've stitched down 2 sides of the hexagon. I'm probably doing slightly larger stitches than I would if I was doing this for real, but it's okay, it's appliqued on top, it's not going anywhere. Oh, got a knot in my thread. Doesn't that always happen? I'm just 1 stitch away from the end. There we are. Now when I get to that corner, I'm just going to do that stitch on that corner. Let me lay it there under the close-up. And then I'm going to just move that pin over there out of the way. Get my little seam ripper again. And I say you can do this with a small pair of scissors as well. I'm just going to break those couple of threads. Pull that thread out. And this is where having the knot on top really comes into play, because I'm not having to fish around underneath for it. And then I can turn that over and take that paper out. And now once that paper's out, I can carry on stitching that side down, and I'll do the same with there. I'll get to the second side, then I'll stop, take the paper out of that one, and I just keep going with that all the way around until I get to the last 2, and then on this one I'll stop there and I'll remove both papers. because it's going to be hard if I only left that little gap to get in underneath and pull that final paper out. So I tend to, I might do one side if they're large like this, but generally I sort of do those last two together. Why do I leave the papers in when I'm appliquing them down? I feel it gives me a better shape. With the papers in there, the hexagons hold true to their shape. It makes it easier for them to stitch down. They don't sort of move about so much. It holds that crease nicely, and it's easy enough to just whip those papers out as you go along. It might be a little bit harder if you've glued them in, because quite often you have to sort of pull at them a little bit more. But, you know, just give yourself enough room so you can get your fingers under there. And if you haven't got the dexterity in your fingers, get a little pair of tweezers or something to grab hold of those papers and pull them out. So that's how I sort of process it. The next steps I do once I've actually made the hexagons, when I take the papers out, how I take those papers out will depend on which technique I'm using, whether I'm appliquing it down or using it as just another piece of fabric. So I hope that's answered the questions. If there's anything else you're not quite sure about, do leave a comment, and we can cover that as well in another video or by sort of replying to your comment. So I hope you found that useful, and I hope you'll join me again here next time in the sewing studio.